Oh, hi, babes. What up, M9s? Marinashutup has released their most recent Feminist Friday video on, yeah, you guessed it, Monday. And seeing as she seems like an open-minded kind of girl, I'm hoping to involve myself in the discussion she put forward with a video response. Before I do that though, mad love to Sir Sick the Social Inequality Crusader for featuring me on his promotional P Mondays. It's helped me earn my first 100 subscribers, which I don't think is bad for a channel that's only a month old. Those of you I've spoken to in the comments seem legendary, and those of you I haven't spoken to, get on it, man. Drop me a comment with your thoughts, I'd love to hear it. Anyway, my soppy bollocks hat is off now, because it's time to get down to business. Marina's going to introduce our topic, the old favourite, the dictionary definition of feminism.
My question is, how do people who make videos and wear glasses record without their lights reflecting off of the lenses? Because the answer to that question eludes me. So what I want to talk about today is the dictionary definition of feminism. Should we use it? Should we not use it? Is it adequate? Let's discuss.
No, I don't reckon it is adequate. Mainly because defining any ideology simplistically is extremely difficult in practice because, in reality, the ideology of the individual is largely subjective. Feminists will often say anyone can be a feminist when trying to get men to join the cause, but they're right in more ways than one. Because of how broad dictionary definitions are, anyone can be feminist. Good, well-meaning people, as you appear to be from this video, and absolute scumbag wank-stained pooheads. Pooheads.
As someone who discusses feminism, social justice, the like on the internet, I often run into conversations with people who don't necessarily share the same ideological leanings as I do. Dictionary definitions are meant to give you a very basic, rough idea of what a word means, but if you want to have a more in-depth discussion and a better understanding of that word, then it's better to use different sources and more in-depth specified texts. Like if I'm trying to learn about biology, for example, and I need to learn a specific term, I wouldn't look in Merriam-Webster to get the most in-depth definition of that word. I would look in a biology textbook because that's going to be more useful.
Okay, remember that biology analogy.
And there's going to be more nuance to that. And I will admit that I have been a person in the past who, when I've been having conversations with anti-feminists or people who just don't necessarily identify or agree with every aspect of feminism, I've said the dictionary definition of feminism is someone who fights for equality. So if you're not a feminist, then you must not believe in gender equality.
Marina, shut up. I can't believe this. Not you, Marina. Not you. I'm not angry. I'm not. I'm just disappointed. Nah, don't care really. I'll forgive you and move on. Never mind.
Looking back, I realize is not the most helpful argument to make, and in the end, neither person has come to a better understanding or has really been swayed either way. And on top of that, I've met a lot of self-identified feminists who I just adamantly disagree with.
Ah, same here, Marina. Same here.
In the past, I might even say that they're not real feminists because I don't believe that they're doing feminism correctly or whatever that means, but usually I use that as shorthand to mean that I don't think that they are as informed or as familiar with a wide variety of feminist theorists to get like a full picture of what intersectionality and intersectional feminism should look like. But I really don't know if I believe that that's the best way to go about tackling people I disagree with who identify as feminists, or even people that don't identify as feminists and want to talk about like the definition of feminism, because there are multiple types of feminisms, and it's not one monolith where everyone agrees on everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's hardly a progressive definition, is it? You know, it's almost like it's more of a hindrance than a help.
I'm not sure if I find the dictionary definition of feminism as someone fighting for social, political, and economic equality as being specific enough. I don't know if I find it super useful because pretty much any person ever is going to say that they're for equality, but we could have very different ideas of how to achieve equality. And we could disagree. We could be on completely different sides of the political spectrum and, say that we're for equality. So I feel like using a broad definition like that might be helpful to an extent, but I don't know if I personally find it useful anymore the way that I might have found it useful in the past. I think it might be more helpful to use more specific definitions and more specific terms when we're having conversations like this, because a lot of the time I might agree with someone, but the way that we're using definitions leads to fundamental disagreement and confusion and miscommunication because we're trying to articulate the same idea, but we're doing it in completely different ways.
Well then, surely definitions, in this instance, are nothing but a pain in the ass? Earlier you mentioned the biology analogy.
Like if I'm trying to learn about biology, for example, and I need to learn a specific term, I wouldn't look in Merriam-Webster to get the most in-depth definition of that word. I would look in a biology textbook because that's going to be more useful.
I want to try and offer you a solution to this issue you have, because I think we both fundamentally agree on one thing. Due to the complications surrounding the possible definitions of feminism, and by extension the subsequent stigma that bad feminists have caused good feminists, whatever that means, you find topics that you'd otherwise agree with people on disagreeable. What we're talking about here is identity politics. This
sides-based thinking.
And it fucks things up on the regular, my sexy spectacle-wearing buttercup. I'll make a bold statement. Feminism isn't science. Yeah, alright, there might be social science involved, but that, at best, is a considerably debatable science. You can go to your biology book for your definition of how the human body works because, for the most part, it's been absolutely scientifically tested and proven thousands of times by thousands of people. The place feminism is active is social issues. The discussion surrounding social issues should always be solely on whatever the social issue is about. To do that, you need to know what the problem is, relevant facts and figures, whether those facts and figures are fact-checked and legitimate, and if there's a context to them, what that context is and what the effect of it is, and probably some other shit as well. What it doesn't need is, okay, let's open this discussion on whether or not the pay gap is due to women's free choice or sexist cis-white male scum employers being sexist cis-white male scum. Firstly, are you a radical feminist, an intersectional feminist, or an intererectional feminist? What the fuck has that got to do with anything? Who cares? We already have a definition for someone who wants equality for everyone, and that's egalitarian. Why can't that be enough for you? So, my genius solution? The term feminism? Fuck it off. Bye-bye. Bin it. Well, you can't delete the word entirely, but at least don't be so emotionally attached to it in arguments.
Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on this, because I'm curious how you fall on the whole issue of, do you use the simplistic definition of feminism as simply being for gender equality, or do you think a more specific term, like identifying specifically as an intersectional feminist rather than basic ass feminist?
Don't care. What issues are we talking about and how are we going to solve it? Those are the only two questions I'm interested in. I hope you managed to see my video, Marina. Your response would be much appreciated. I'm obviously not expecting a video response from someone with 72,000 subscribers. I am only a 100 sub peasant. But just in the comments would be fine. Cheers.